Welcome to the Flag Files, telling history through fabric and form. In this episode of Flag Files, we unravel the history of one of the most iconic flags in the world, the Swiss cross. From medieval battlefields to modern neutrality, the story of Switzerland's white cross on red is deeply tied to its national identity. The story of the Swiss flag begins not with a banner, but with a field sign, a white cross sewn onto the clothing of soldiers. First recorded in 1339 at the Battle of Laupen, this white cross distinguished the troops of the Old Swiss Confederacy from their enemies who bore the red cross of the Habsburgs or the saltire of Burgundy. At this time, the Confederacy was a loose alliance of alpine cantons, and each canton had its own unique flag. However, the white cross, originally attached to existing red flags like that of Schwyz, gradually came to represent the Confederate cause as a whole. By the mid-15th century, this cross had become a unifying emblem, seen on cantonal war flags during the Burgundy Wars of the 1470s. These early crosses weren't centered or uniform, often irregular and asymmetrical, but their symbolism as a mark of Swiss unity and Christian heritage was already deeply rooted. In 1540, the Swiss Diet, Tagsatzung, first mentioned the white cross on a red field as a collective flag to represent Swiss troops aiding the city of Rottweil. This marked a turning point, a single banner for the Confederacy, separate from the individual cantonal flags. Although the Swiss remained militarily neutral after 1540, the white cross on red remained in use as a symbolic and diplomatic emblem. It appeared on medals, official gifts like the 1547 baptismal medallion for Princess Claude of France, and later on military equipment. During this time, individual cantons developed their own military flags, featuring the white cross on backgrounds of their own colors, leading to flamme designs which featured fiery striped patterns behind the cross. These were widely used by Swiss mercenary regiments in the 17th and 18th centuries. In 1798, Switzerland was invaded by revolutionary France, and the old Confederacy collapsed. The Helvetic Republic, a centralized puppet state, replaced traditional Swiss symbols with a tricolor of green, red, and yellow. Yet in exile and in the battlefield, General Niklaus Franz von Bachmann flew a red flag with a white cross during campaigns in 1800 and 1815, signaling resistance and continuity. After the fall of the Helvetic Republic, the old Confederacy was restored in 1815. The white cross was reinstated as part of the federal coat of arms, officially recognized by the Swiss Diet. A detailed seal was created, featuring the white cross on a red shield surrounded by the coats of arms of the 22 cantons. This seal would influence all later federal symbols, but at this stage there was still no official national flag. Throughout the 1830s regeneration period, as liberal and radical movements pushed for reform, the white cross resurfaced on flags flown by civic associations, shooting clubs, gymnastic groups, and music societies. These organizations helped popularize the cross as a symbol of Swiss identity and unity. In 1833, the canton of Aargau adopted the white cross for its military units. In 1839, General Guillaume-Henri Dufour proposed its adoption across all cantonal troops. A few months later, the Diet approved a unified military flag, The first official model from 1841 showed a bold, centrally placed white cross on a square red field. An unusual shape for a national flag, but one that would become uniquely Swiss. The arms were made of 5 equal squares, giving the cross a perfect symmetry. After the Swiss Civil War, Sonderbund War, and the establishment of the modern Swiss federal state in 1848, the 1841 flag became the de facto national banner. While the 1848 Constitution did not yet define the national flag explicitly, the red field and white cross were now widely used by military, civic, and international institutions. By the late 19th century, debates emerged about the precise proportions of the cross. Some versions used the 5-square method, while others adopted a ratio of 7:6 for the length to width of the arms, seen on coins and seals. In 1889, the Swiss Federal Council resolved the issue, declaring the 7:6 ratio official. The red background was kept square, emphasizing Switzerland's uniqueness among nations. Although square flags are rare internationally, the Swiss continued to use theirs with pride. The rectangular version is reserved for maritime use, like on Swiss ships, and was officially introduced in 1953. In 2013, Switzerland passed a new law, the Wappenschutzgesetz, which, for the first time, defined both the flag and the coat of arms using a legal image. It preserved the 1889 proportions and reinforced protections for the Swiss cross as a national emblem. Today, the Swiss flag stands not only for a neutral country known for diplomacy and humanitarian aid, but also as the basis for the emblem of the Red Cross, an international symbol of protection and relief, derived directly from the Swiss flag by reversing its colors. That's it for this episode of Flag Files. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with a new flag and a new story. Until then, take care.